Go completely all the way up. You know, they're not carrying it. Yes. Okay, so once I put the heels in, then let's see what it looks like. That picture that I drew 5 years ago was so strange. When it said just Mint and Grammy, and then it was a bunch of scribbles. And I was honestly just being young and dumb, and I was kind of fucked up, and I was just making notes. But isn't that dope?
It's
like,
really
okay, guys, let's talk.
Type of cosmic.
I know. I'm like, I knew I wasn't crazy. Okay. I would always take out my notebook or my schedule or my iPad into the bars, and I would always just draw down notes, thoughts that came to me, ideas. And so I had wrote down, and I don't even remember writing it. I don't know why I wrote it. I didn't even realize it until I was like just scrolling because I couldn't sleep because we were about to have our stuff like at the Grammys, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So I was looking at things from me and my husband from way back then, and I saw this picture of this rose that he bought me. Okay, so here's the picture. And then if you look real close, this is my husband's name, but that says Mint. And that says Grammy. And then we could see it says 5 years ago is when I took this picture. There's no rose hand tattoo or anything. It was the first rose he ever got me, so it was already like a very important picture to me. So then I'm looking at this rose, and then I for some reason look behind what is in the backdrop of the rose, and it is my notebook, and there's something like scribbles. So I know that I did that when I was out being crazy, because I just was like scribbling, and inside that circle it says Mint and it says Grammy.
You wrote down, and I don't know if it was a manifestation that you wanted to come forth, but you wrote Mint Green Grammys, and I'm like, yeah, so this is what it is.
And once we put these bra cups in, then we'll determine, because I want to cut some of this away so it's, very...
Everybody's expectations, even her own expectations. She has the most beautiful gowns, and now she is creating a mint gown for the Grammys.
Hello everyone, my name is Janisha Green. I am a fashion director.
So what stood out to you the most about Vivien's work when you first saw it?
It was extremely couture, very, very high fashion, very couture. It was different, but it was modern. It was sometimes whimsical. And me being a hopeless romantic, I appreciate, the dreaminess, the whimsicalness of her pieces and the stories behind it. So those things always drew me to her aesthetics as a designer.
It's most designers' desire and or dream to have anything in LA at the Grammys, it's just kind of like a status of, not necessarily, hey, I made it, but it's just like in fashion, that's what everybody's there for. Music, yes, but everybody wants to see who's wearing what, by who, and so it's just kind of like the little taste of fame of it all, and so that was really cool. But then I'm just like, I feel like God showed that to me at that time, because climbing up into the window, and my husband's like always embarrassed, but he's like, babe, you're diving too deep, get down. But I remember touching the windows and the lights outside. I think I was at Tiki Bob's downtown. The lights outside in the streets, I remember it was raining, and the lights started like vibing to me. The street lights started like vibing, and like the city lights and the lights of the other clubs, they like were so bright. So now that I like remember that, and that's why I climbed in the window, you know, like I was just crazy. But I saw that dress in LA. And I have goosebumps over my entire body because, like, I mean, even the sign on my desk says spiritual gangster, because I'm so in tune with the spirit, and I always have been. But just to get confirmations like that from God, it's just like, wow, me praying 8 times a day is why.
I would say right now that's probably my favorite dress. It's a beautiful lace. It's just amazing. Like, yeah, so I'm excited to see that.
I guess moving forward, I'm gonna dive deeper, you know, definitely sober, because I'm a mom and a business owner now. You know, back then I couldn't imagine being where I am now. So there's only room for growth, but you know, it'll be interesting to see what God will tell me now that I'm listening. That mint green thing that I didn't post it on Facebook or our Instagram because it was very personal.
Vivien has been an asset to me because we kind of grow with one another. We build each other. So when I've got something going on, I always pull her into it. When she has something going on, she always pulls me into it. We're both in the fashion industry. So here in Indianapolis, it's kind of a small community, like the fashion industry. And so I was doing a fashion show called Fashion Lunatics, and that was the first time that I was able to bring Vivien onto the fashion scene. And then the next fashion show I did was called the Monsters Ball, and so she got to show a lot of her gowns in the Monsters Ball fashion show, and she just kind of skyrocketed from there.
And it'll help too once this little part is taken in as well, because it'll kind of come up underneath. But yes, very nice. That was probably the most constructed piece that I've ever done as an artist or a seamstress or a designer in general, because I had to create fixtures through the whole skirt. So we would use horsehair, which is like a 4 or 5 inch, you know, plastic woven wavy piece, and I installed that into each seam in the dress. So there's 2 in the front, 2 on the sides, and 2 in the back. Well, there's 3 in the back in the center seam. Then we actually put boning, but we put 2 pieces of boning actually. We would make casings down the skirt, and then we would cut a plastic that length, and we slid it into the casing and really adhesive, backstitch the top and the bottom, so that piece of plastic would stretch that seam out so it was awkwardly round. But we had a total of 7,000 Swarovski crystals. I know that we didn't put every single one on for sure, but that's how many we did order for the project. And we kind of gradated them from like the large into like the lighter ones. So I reverted to ordering like $200 worth of professional ice skating tights in every skin tone possible. And you know, they have a hole in the bottom so that you can put them over the ice skate so it looks like they're dancing on the ice in their feet. And so I'm like, well, why couldn't I put a heel in it? It's much smaller, it's better. So we found the tone that she liked. I slipped in the clear shoe that I requested she would bring. And then we adhesive the tight, you know, around like the shoe with E6000, also on the bottom to give it a little grip on the floor. And then basically E6000 it up around like the heel. So that essentially became a shoe. And then from there we just boom, 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 like thousands of crystals.
And my hair usually comes on this side, so maybe ruffle on this side.
Okay. Yay. Yeah. Ruffle, you're liking that, or did you want another?
Yeah, I like the.
Okay, we'll just do that. My creative director, Danisha Green, she used to be my stylist, and she styled my very first fashion show. And then we kind of became friends after that, but it was very business-oriented relationship. Reconnected and rekindled at that time, and she called me a couple months after that and was like, you know I fuck with you, right? And I said, should I start drinking now? And she said, do you want to dress somebody for the Grammys? And I said, hold on, let me go take a shot. Yes. Okay, so let's. Denisha shared with me the concepts of things that she liked. I shared with her, the type of product that we could get for her. Then we sketch up a design, and so I'll also send you that. I think I may have on the iPad. I gave her an option of a pencil skirted fit or more of a bold fit with the crystals on the tights and the gloves, and we sent it over to her. Well, Denisha did, and so she okayed it, and then Denisha relayed that. So really working with Moiro in the beginning, I didn't have any contact with her, but so Denisha set up her flight to fly in for a fitting, and then we had planned to go to LA like a week after or 2 weeks after, so we could drop off final product, because all the thousands and thousands of crystals, they actually took, we were still working on it in the Airbnb like as she was coming, but that's how this career is. But when Moiro flew here, when she arrived, there was a little time difference, and so I was trying to get a hold of my director. Her phone died, so I texted Moiro on Instagram, and that is when we initially started talking. Is kind of when she walked in my door, from the scheduled business meeting that she had. That was the first moment I had spoken with her, and it was just such a vibe. She's very beautiful, and she was so little, and it was a great experience. She didn't have any opinion about anything. She was just very ecstatic that she was here, and then standing there in the dress, and she's just like, oh, whatever you think, and I'm like, it's just kind of cool, because then I'm able to well, all right, let's do this,
I'm going crazy on the inside. I'm trying to keep it together, but
this is gonna be so beautiful. Oh yes, you're welcome.
Did you know she was gonna call you?
No, I did not. No, she was gonna call me, and I did not know that you were gonna be in the car. That was the best part of the call, by the way.
Oh my gosh!
I can barely keep my phone in my hands, but
wow.
We outside.
Yes, beautiful. I love it.
I love it.
Does the strap and everything feel comfortable?
Yes, we had to dig a rig it in the back just a little bit.
This is really awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much for supporting our brand. It just all came together through God.
Yes.
For sure with the 29 stuff. So that was really, and you're just such a vibe. Thank you so much. You look
Thank
so
you.
pretty. Oh, I'm gonna screech at you. Yay. I look forward to working with you in the future. Okay.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Come on.
Tell her, say hi to the camera.
Events, okay? Just
Oh.
with Denisha, and we'll make it happen.
Say hi to the camera. Ralph is here.
Hey, Ralph. Hey.
Hey, got you on
Thank you so
camera.
much for being there for us. Oh my gosh, man! I wish we were there, but this is his art, okay?
Yes.
So thank you so much for allowing him to video you guys and capture this moment. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough.
Same. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
So when she called you,
Yeah.
you were ecstatic.
I was very excited. I was very excited because I had just gotten into my door at my house from work, and my husband had the Grammys on. He's like, babe, and he had cooked ribs and everything for us. I was like, yay, soul food. But then she called, and it was just cool because I was with my family, and my mom had surprised me, and she was over, and we were just getting, we always watch the Grammys together anyways, but this time was a little different because it's kind of like, my mom's just like, my baby, and so it was just a good feeling to have Moiro call me when I just walked into a higher place of peace. If she would have called me here, it would have been different feeling than if I were to be at my home with my baby. So that was really cool. Even to have my mom, see her call me from the Grammys, it's just like, it was very special. Yeah, and it's just like the mint green thing. I'm just like, it just blows my mind, to be honest.
Wow. Do you have a favorite?
Yes, absolutely. The next fashion show that I did that I featured Vivien Jackson was called the American Geisha fashion show, and we showed several of her pieces, and she made a gown specifically for me. The bottom was brocade, a beautiful mini dress, and the top was very structured. So it looked amazing on the model, and then after the fashion show, she gifted it to me, and that is still my favorite piece from Vivien Jackson. You know how you meet some people and they really don't kind of mesh well with your energy, but then again, there are those people, that you meet and immediately you feel like you've known them forever. And so that's what drew me to Vivien, because she was such a bright spark and she was so artistic and very driven.
I can't take credit for this career because like I'm making people's dresses for their dream day of their life. Like they have how many days in their life, but they choose me to make something for them to be represented in for the best day of their life or the biggest event of their life.